Hi guys, I wanted to share with you my favorite perfumes, scents, and also introduce you to the two new ones that I got for Christmas and how I'm getting on with them. And also the only perfume I've bought myself in quite some time. So we're going to start with I've got here a tray with all of my fragrances on, including things that I did buy like last summer, like the Charlotte Tilbury Calm Bliss. I've loved for years, Joe Loves, number 42, The Flower Shop. But I've tried, oh, that is delicious. I've tried to really narrow it down to my absolute favorites, the ones that I reach for over and over again. And I don't like make myself wear them because of rotation. I wear them because I just love them. So I'm going to go, not including the two new ones because they're too new to decide yet, but my three favorite fragrances of all time in reverse order. Okay, so in the number 3 slot is Jo Malone Honeysuckle Davana. I absolutely adore this. This is the first time I've had the large bottle. I can't remember when I got that, but my dad, I've always bought this size because sometimes some Jo Malone fragrances turn and I don't go through them because I have about 10 to 15 that I rotate. I'd rather have more of them in and have smaller sizes and they're quite fresh. And also now that I've got the bigger one, I will use this one in a bag, like in a makeup bag in my bag or whatever. But it's such a lovely, fully rounded summer sweet scent. I absolutely love it. So this is a sweet white floral that is basically a chypre, or I don't know how you say it, fragrance. It's got the Davana, which I think is more leafy at the top. Then you've got the honeysuckle as the sort of middle note, and the base is mossy. And it's funny, a lot of my fragrances that I like have that. I don't particularly like a sandalwood base or an overly woody base. My florals that I enjoy tend to be the greener, fresher white flowers, but not heady white flowers like jasmine, which you think the honeysuckle could be. But what happens with the honeysuckle in this is that it just clings a bit longer. It's a bit richer. I have lots of Jo Malone fragrances that I like, but this seems to be the only one that I've continued in the last couple of years to repurchase. The Bluebell I love, the Wood Sage and Sea Salt we share. Ed has it and we share it. And all of those are very light, almost aquatic, and they don't cling or last that well on me. I love Blackberry and Bay. I love a lot of them, but this is definitely my favorite. And it's very feminine and it's floral, but it's not like heady or too much. One review, I was just checking the notes and stuff on Fragrantica, and they were saying, oh, it's too cloying in hot weather. I feel like this is that kind of full, blousy, hot and middle of August appropriate. It almost warms up even more when it's hot, but I could wear it in the winter to lift my spirits. So if you like Jo Malone, but you find some of them just an hour and a half later, you can't smell it on you, this is the one. It's sweet and delicious, and it has that thing that I can't describe, that Moorishness that I just love. Okay, next up we have Infusion de Vanille from Prada. This is a random one because my husband got me this for Valentine's Day about 2 years ago, and it's so rare for Ed to choose a fragrance and for me to fall in love with it. It's like any gift. The things you really love, you tend to choose it yourself, and fragrance is so personal. It's like buying a foundation for a friend for a present, which actually at this point I could do with certain people, but that's because I'm into researching makeup. But this is a vanilla dominant, and that is Ed's favorite fragrance note for me, and it is a smoky vanilla. Who knew that that's what makes it so delicious? Again, like the previous one, it's got this Moorishness to it. So the top notes are bergamot, I believe, vanilla and smoke. And now I didn't know that till I really did my research, but I can smell the smokiness now. I had found it hard to identify what that was before. The middle notes are amber and stuff, I think, and the base note and neroli and the base note is just more vanilla. It's vanilla on top of vanilla. It's creamy and smoky. Oh, it's so delicious and yummy, and I love this. I really hope they never discontinue it. This is almost, I love this almost as much as the top one. It's just so gorgeous. It lasts really well. It softens, but it doesn't go through too much of a journey like some fragrances. It kind of stays consistent. It lasts well, but it's never cloyingly vanilla-y or too sweet or too gourmandy, like you smell like cake. It's just perfect. If you like vanilla, please go and smell this. It's the most beautiful fragrance. And then lastly, in my top 3, and my favorite fragrance of all time, and I know that as long as they continue to make it, I will continue to love it for the rest of my life, is Chanel Jersey. This again is a very vanilla-y, lavender, sorry, I don't mean vanilla-y. This is a very lavender heavy fragrance. And when I smell this, I feel comfort, pure, unadulterated safety, peace, and comfort. So yeah, this is a lavendery fragrance that is musky, soft, powdery. You could even argue, some people say very soapy. I just find it is very different to other fragrances, and I know that this is a real love it or hate it, a real Marmite situation. But basically, when I first was in a Chanel boutique and I was looking at the exclusives, which is this is one of, used to be a boutique exclusive that you couldn't get online, except maybe on the Chanel website, but you couldn't buy that. Now you can get these in bigger department stores and stuff, and they are at a premium price compared to other Chanel fragrances that are available on every like Chanel beauty counter. But this is like my 5th bottle. This is my most worn. I can wear this fragrance when I've got a migraine, and it will contribute to my relaxation and feeling of sort of tranquility, I guess. And that's the only fragrance I can ever imagine. If you're one of these people where you love fragrance, but they're very triggering and cause headaches and stuff, and you can't really tolerate them, I would suggest that you maybe try this, because I have an issue with some headier fragrances, but this is just so the opposite of that. I sometimes spray this on my pillow. I've sprayed it on my dressing gown. It just smells of like home and comfort now. And I think the longer you have like a relationship with the fragrance, you develop that memories and the scent are all mingled together, and it just gives you a positive feeling. So yeah, I love this. I don't really know what else to say about it. It is very lavendery, and it doesn't really have anything contrasting in a kind of surprising or edgy way. If you like the lavender in here, but you need something tougher and maybe leathery or more masculine in with it, then try Boy, because they're weirdly similar but very different at the same time. On the dry down, Boy develops quite differently and has some sharper vibe to it, if I remember correctly. But Jersey is just a soft, pillowy, cloud-like lavender that is soothing, and I can't be objective because I love it too much to be so. But this is my favorite fragrance of all time. And now I'm going to talk about the new one. My husband got me this for Christmas. This is Peletine by Marley, and it was launched last year. This is a soft, musky, powdery violet fragrance. And again, violet, like lavender and fragrance, is a love it or loathe it. Some people would argue that I have a preference for sort of granny smells. I like Lily of the Valley from Penhaligon still. I do like those old-fashioned florals that are not heavy and knock you down. But the reason, I mean, this was on my Christmas list, but the reason I liked it, the reason I was drawn to try it was I just saw purple in the store and I was like, what is that? It's Marley and it's purple. Let it be violet. And it was. Is that I didn't mention in my top 3 this one, and it probably really is there and that I love it as much as these, but I wanted to just wait and not show it to you twice, show it to you in the context of this, because this is also a violet fragrance that I have loved for years, and it's Guerlain Insolence, which is another very violety. It smells like the meteorites, more than ever the meteorites fragrance did. It's so sweet. It whacks you around the face with the sweetness, which is not normally my vibe, but something about this, that that sweety, sickly violetness. The way it settles on the skin is so delicious, and I don't know how to describe it to you, but it is sweet. Like, it is about as sweet as I can imagine smelling anything being. This is lighter, and still have that in my nose, this is sweet, but it's got more of a candy floss sweetness, whereas that is a blousy, heady sweetness. This is lighter. Oh, so gorgeous. And more orangey. So there is, I think, orange or clementine in here, bergamot, vanilla again, but not as much. It just supports the violet. And it's light and delicious and girly. There is some sandalwood in the base, but I don't really pick up on it. The base is woody, but it's not too much. There's pear in here. I have another fragrance that's more recent. This I did buy myself. I think did it launch in like August, September? This is the Merit Retrospect, which I really like. I like a pear fragrance. I really like, and that is yummy, but it's very light. It doesn't last particularly well on my body chemistry. But I also like the English pear and freesia from Jo Malone. But the reason I prefer the Honeysuckle Davana is that one is one of the ones that doesn't really cling on me. So I do like a pear note, but they're often in very light florals. Pear is placed with, because pear has this floral sweetness to it as a fruit, but they just often don't hang around very long. But the pear notes in this are quite sparkly, and they come through they're a top note, but they come through after the first sort of 20 minutes, and you can pick up on that. It's really nice. So there's light florals, the pear, the bergamot, and then you get more of that vanilla-y, irisy, violety note coming through. It's delightful all year round, and I think I don't know yet if this is going to beat this one, because this has got that moorishness that the Prada Vanilla's got, where you smell it and you're like, I love it. This is like more delicate and subtle, and you have to really try and focus on what you're smelling as it unfolds. But I do really love it. I just need to get to know it a little bit more. And last but not least, we have something I got myself, which I don't normally buy a fragrance at this kind of bonkers price point for myself, but I fell in love at first sniff. And this is Peche Mirage by Guerlain. I've been looking for, it matches my flowers, I've been looking for a peach fragrance, what I feel is a true peach fragrance, oh my God, for the longest time. I'm spraying so much fragrance, I'm going to spray it in the lid. When you first smell it, the alcohol in the formula and everything, it's a little bit sharp and just smells like many other fragrances. But after a short while, only a short while, it starts to develop. And what I get from this, the main notes in this fragrance are peach and leather, and also a flower called osmanthus, which I'm not really familiar with. But basically, you get the fresh, juicy peach flesh up front. After that kind of champagne-y, sparkling kind of thing that's quite right up there, very high kind of top notes, not very grounded. And then as that sort of already starts to evaporate, you get ripe peach flesh, which I really appreciate, because most of the fragrances are more peach pit that I've smelled. They have that peach stone, almost amaretti type vibe. This is summer biting into sun-ripened fruit peachiness, which is really delicious and nice. And then the leather comes in a bit later, kind of the middle notes, after half an hour. And the leather just toughens it up and makes it not too basic, girly, just a fruity fragrance. It grounds it and gives it that complexity and gives that peach something to sort of grab onto and anchor it, if you know what I mean. Oh, it's just so sweet and ripe, but it's nowhere near as sweet as some of these other ones. Like the Honeysuckle Davana gives that same height of summer, ripe fruit kind of vibe in a floral way. This is more sparkly, and it comes across lighter. Yeah, sorry, the leather, I've just checked because I wasn't sure if that was right. The leather is in the base notes with some sandalwood and amber. The middle note is that white flower osmanthus, and the top notes are the peach, saffron, which now I can really identify, and I love saffron, and some blackcurrant, which is more stringent perhaps than it's got some sharpness to it over the peach. I will say, and this is the story with me with a lot of fragrances, and oddly with mascaras, that a sample or a mini is really, really feels long lasting on me and stronger, and then I get the actual fragrance and it seems different. And I think that that's just that I didn't take enough time. I had 2 samples of this with Guerlain makeup purchases, but by the time I decided to buy it, which was a couple of weeks of just wearing the samples, I mean, to the fact that I used them up. So probably 8 days in total that I wore the sample, and I really observed how it developed. I actually, the day that I really was grabbed at the start by this fragrance and wanted to add it, and it's the most expensive fragrance I've ever bought. I think I had some body lotion. I'll just show you. I think I was wearing, I know I was wearing the Cherry Blossom from L'Occitane all over my body, and I'd showered in the shower gel. It's my favorite like shower or bath kind of body care range ever. A very simple cherry sweet blossom smell, and I think these two combined. So where is it? The other day I also have the eau de toilette in this. I sprayed the eau de toilette on my wrist and I left it for about 5 minutes, and then I came in here, spritzed this on top, and weirdly when I wear those two together, it takes this from an 8 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. The sweetness does something to this that makes it even more juicy and moreish for me, but I'm not a sophisticated fragrance lover. I just like what I like. So let's see. I don't know. I will update you in future if these two become top 3 favorites like the ones that I showed you already. I mean, there are others. It was not an easy decision. That top spot for the jersey was an easy decision, but the second and third place were not. I was going to say Insolence could easily be in that top 3. The Honeysuckle Davana could be there. An oldie but a goodie. I do love my Hermes Twilly. I do love my 2, and these are the only 2 that I really love from Joe Loves. The Red Truffle 21 is my sort of spring favorite sometimes, because this one, the number 42 Flower Shop, is the smell of a flower shop, and all of those buckets full of all those stems, you get the leaf and the greenness and the mossiness coming through. I love Red Truffle 21. It's like my Christmas perfume. It's got that spicy pepperiness to it. So I love fragrance, but I don't just buy them willy-nilly because they're just generally nice. Like, I don't really like most of the Dior and Chanel ones that you can just get at the counter, because I know countless friends that have them. There's nothing different or unique to me about them. I also absolutely love, and I nearly included this, Creed Green Irish Tweed. I mean, a lot of my fragrances are unisex. I mean, that talk about moreish, that is mossy heaven. And it's funny, the notes crop up again and again, so you can start to identify from a set of notes what you're going to like. So I love moss at the base, I love vanilla, I love lavender, I love white flowers like Lily of the Valley and those lighter white flowers. I do not particularly like jasmine. I find it too heady. You know, remember when Bobbi Brown made like beach and those kind of ones that I don't know if she still does, but they are really heady and honeyed, and I don't like that. It's not fresh to me. For summer, I've got a few that I've put, a lot of my Tom Fords are put away. I love Portofino or something d'Amalfi. I love the one that's like a pina colada, the Soleil Blanc. I have that. They're packed away to get out in summer. And obviously my Louis Vuitton California Dream, is it called? I love that. So I love fragrance, but I have maybe 15 in total. For me, that's not a huge fragrance collection. There are lots of people that I follow on YouTube who have like a whole shelf behind them and millions of fragrances. I like the ones that are really familiar and feel part of me. And I don't know yet whether these two will become that for me. I think they will. I wouldn't have asked for them or got them otherwise, but they're not familiar like the other ones yet. But there you go. I will list my fragrances down below. As I was saying, these notes, like iris, is often found in nearly all of these. So if you think of the fragrances that you really like, that you wear, my advice is, if you want to broaden your collection or try new things, is identify what the notes are, go on Fragrantica or go on the brand of the fragrance that you like, and there'll be a description, and start to work out. And the other thing is that I'm trying to tune into is identifying what I smell at the beginning in the top notes, as it develops the middle notes and then the base notes, and just kind of heighten your senses to that journey. And then you might be able to identify what you like, what you don't like, what lasts well on you, what doesn't, mood, and how your mood can be affected by certain variations in fragrance. And then you might know what to go and sniff and try that will give you something new and different in your collection, but that's got those familiar notes that you know work for you. In terms of new fragrances going forward, I really like, I feel like these are kind of investment-y level, and my jersey, I kind of would like to get something sweet and light and fun that I can throw in my handbag and isn't at such an expensive price point. So I'm looking at the Kayali ones because I'm just kind of having FOMO around the marshmallow one and some of the other ones. There's a lychee one, so I think I'm going to try maybe some smaller, like a discovery set or travel sizes. But fragrance is fun and can make you enjoy your day a bit more. Just the little things. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.